guys, Kelly here with your Warren First 931. I am with my good friend, as always, not only a nursery lover but a dog lover, Tommy Savage. He's our commissioner for District 7. And there was a lot of talk that started ruffling up some feathers on social media about the Chattanooga Human Waste. And so I wanted to get him on the show to kind of clarify some things about what it is. Is it good? Is it bad? You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess I could say it that way. So with that said, Tommy, when did you first become aware of this human waste program?
It was last year at one of the county commission meetings. It was, of course, the third Monday in the month, or in January.
Yeah.
And I think it was around the 15th. And somebody said something to me about it. And I said, well, are they using it in my district?
Yeah.
And he said, and that person said, yeah.
Right.
They are up around the Highway 30 area. Spencer Road.
Spencer Road, and that
Yes.
is that also close to the and I heard some parts of Viola too, in Van Buren.
Yeah, I've heard of Viola, and yeah, they have used quite a bit in Van Buren too.
Right, and with that said, do we know if I was reading some articles, but do we know if it's filtered or unfiltered? Because the EPA is saying that it is filtered human waste. It goes through the water program and everything, so it's cleaned.
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah. It is supposed to be, and I have talked to TDEC, that's Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation.
Okay.
I have talked to them, and they said that it's legal.
It's legal.
That was what their word was. It's
right.
legal.
And we have to take their word.
We have to take their word for it.
Yeah.
And I said, you can't go any further than that. I said, what about if it's running into the water
right.
shelter? He said, well, unless there's a major fish kill or something, we don't get involved.
Sparks don't fly,
yeah.
kind of thing. And with that said too, it's the program, there's a program called Synagro, I think I'm saying this right, and a lot of farmers in Warren County are using it. Yeah. Is it a good program for farmers? Because you and me both know, as nurserymen and farmers ourselves, that product, costs for products like the chemicals and things like that are high, and they're not cheap. But this program is free.
Yeah, this is used for fertilizer.
Okay.
Now, I've talked to some farmers at like hay farmers that have said they've had amazing results.
Right.
And the city of Chattanooga is where this product is coming from.
Yeah.
They pay the freight. They get it trucked over here and brought and spread
right.
free.
Yeah, they spread. Yeah.
Good fertilizer is going to cost you $600 to $700 a ton.
Yeah, I was wondering how much is it up now.
And a farmer told me on one farm they saved $35,000.
In just doing the fertilizer alone.
Yeah, just from fertilizer alone.
Okay.
So I can see their point wanting to use it.
But yeah, I get it. But is there going to be any pros that can outweigh the cons right now?
Well, the biggest complaint that I had was the smell.
Yeah.
And is when you drove up Highway 30, when you come to the Dark Hollow Road intersection, it was just like you had drawn a line right there.
Oh, you can just tell.
It was a pungent smell. I said when I did the TV interview, it smelled like a cross between, I'm sorry, but this is gross, but vomit and a dead animal.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just like a cloud was hanging over the neighborhood.
Oh, I hate that. But because, the reason I brought this up is because a lot of residents in McMinnville, they're not happy with it. And I know, like we just said at the beginning of the show, that, this has been going on for over a year now, because it was back in January or mid-January, and now the smell is coming back because I'm not saying it's safe or not safe, but a study from North Carolina, or the University of North Carolina, said 75% are having burning eyes, they're vomiting, the nausea. I mean, and that's going to happen, but as far as the safety of it, it's not going to kill you.
Well, who knows, but I wish there was more study done.
Yeah.
And I would feel a lot better if some independent university or something did
Yeah.
a study, someone that like Vanderbilt that doesn't
Right.
they don't take public money. You could get an independent study with them.
And they can come test the water, test the soil, and all
Yes.
that. That'd be
And-
amazing.
And they would give you a
More
true,
thorough, true.
a true reading. And I would like to see what the benefits are as far as the nitrogen and the potash and,
Yeah.
and all the other elements
Right.
that's in normal fertilizer. I'd like to see what it truly is.
Will do. Yeah, I gotcha. So are there any efforts into putting a stop to this program, or what does the future hold? Because I did read that article saying that a referral was put in for a biosolid site, I guess, to hold the
Yeah,
stuff.
They have to. I think they have to submit permission, and they have to look at it and give them a permit.
Yeah.
And that keeps them legal with
Legal.
TDEC.
But what you were telling me before we started this too was that now, since the article came out last year, that instead of just continuously dumping truckload
Yeah.
after truckload, there's a new thing now.
They, according to Channel 9, what I was told by them, this was last summer, that the city of Chattanooga was cited on 3 things. One was for stockpiling.
Okay.
The other was spreading it. They can't spread it. I'm thinking within 100 yards, 300 feet of anything that could be considered a sinkhole or crevices in the ground where
Yeah.
it could go into the groundwater.
Yeah.
And the third thing was they have to have a plan of action,
Okay.
because one of the things that they said was the reason they stockpiled it stayed stockpiled so long, was the COVID driver, not the COVID driver, the driver of the tractor.
Yeah.
It's a big, huge tractor and a big spreader.
Okay.
They spread it for free, but he got COVID,
Okay.
and he was out for about a month. Then the spreader tore up, and that delayed,
delayed it more
And
and
of
made
course,
it-
they were still hauling.
Yeah.
And friends of mine were hauling it. I don't have a problem with that. Everybody's got to make a living.
Right.
But when you were stockpiling it was just, and we had a lot of rain last winter, and
did.
it was just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and it was getting into the
But
water. Yeah.
if it comes now, they tell me they have to spread it almost immediately.
Immediately.
And when you spread it out and the sun hits it and maybe it rains, it dissipates, and that really helps with the smell.
Okay.
We used to have a hog farm back over here,
Right.
and we put up with the smell from that for years
Right.
and years, and they were doing something wrong with their wastewater, and the EPA shut them down sooner or later.
Oh,
That was
because that was
30
my-
years ago.
Yeah, and that brings me back to what we talked about, like whether it's human waste, animal waste,
Yes.
or whatever kind of waste. I mean,
there's a big buzz now about the chicken houses,
right.
and I feel sorry for those folks, the smell and everything, but whether it's chickens or swine, what they have been eating,
Right.
but you don't know what is coming through a sewer. It could be coming from it could be factory waste. It could be somebody in there spilled something. They just wash
Right.
it on down. I know humans are going to make mistakes, and they're going to take the easy route,
Right.
and they'll just wash that down, and it goes in the drain, and you never know what's going to be in there.
You never know what you're going to get. But to put some people's mind at ease about this overall thing, is there like one last statement you want to let Warren County know about this program to kind of,
Oh, I
their
did,
mind-
and I felt like that when TDEC told me that, oh, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
That was when I decided to get a hold of Channel 9 News,
Right.
and I had a friend that had a friend over there
Yeah.
that got me connected, and the power of the press,
Exactly.
and it went nationwide. I got
did.
emails from all over the country.
Oh, wow.
And they was all positive.
And then by saying that, guys, by him doing this, within the next day, talking to the mayor and everybody, now there's protocols in place when this is coming on to make it as safe as possible.
As safe as possible.
And then I'm gonna, this is me assuming, as just as a Warren County, and if the waste gets here and they can't spread it, they must be they gotta take it back, right?
According to what I've been told.
They can't dump it. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they communicate before.
Yeah, to make sure it all works.
Have everybody lined up.
Yeah.
In the case of the plan of action, they got to make sure that somebody's going to be able to spread it. If the weather is where they can get in the fields.
Proper weather, proper time. Okay, awesome.
Can't just bring it. There was probably an acre covered up, and it was piled up 6 to 8 feet high.
Oh man.
Back in the
summer.
Last winter.
Last winter, yeah.
Now, could you imagine how that would have smelled?
Oh, I did not even want to.
In the middle of summer.
No.
Yeah.
But with that said, if anybody that is listening to the podcast that might have any questions, who can they call? Can they call their commissioner?
Call the commissioner, yeah.
And then,
they can call me and I can forward them on, but as long as they're following the TDEC guidelines, there's not a lot that we can do
at this point.
One thing I would do if I lived in one of these areas where they're using this, I would go ahead, if you've got well water, I would go ahead and go to the water department and get some sterile bottles.
Oh, and test it.
And get a water sample and see if you can get your water department. Sometimes they can test it for you or send it off. And it has to be a sterile bottle. You can't just bring something in there.
Can't bring Tupperware container.
Yeah. And let them test it, and then go back next year and test it again.
Yeah, just to check on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming it doesn't cost to get your water tested, does it?
Not much if it costs anything.
Anything at all? Okay. And that's a good tip to do. Like if you live in that area and you got a well water, that's what I would do.
And you don't do things like this to try to get people in trouble, because some of these friends they're
friends of ours.
They're friends of mine. They live in my district, and they're hardworking, decent people.
Yeah.
So, you're not doing it trying to get them in trouble. You're just trying to make sure that they're doing it the safe way.
Exactly. 100% agree.
We don't want to endanger our water supply or something like that.
No.
Everything eventually goes back into the ground.
Yeah. That's what it does. We all do.
Yes.
I mean, it's the cycle of life, right?
Cycle of life. That's exactly right. I totally 100% agree.
Well, thank you for letting me come talk to you.
You come out anytime.
I know, I'm always welcome out here now. But with that said, I hope that clarified some things for you, Warren County. And if it has or hasn't, you're always welcome to message me on any of my social media outlets, and I can text Tommy or whoever I need to get more answers for you. But other than that, take care, God bless, and remember, Warren County, keep it first.